Well, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues of the Circus of Safety, welcome to our show. Not at the new time, just at a slightly more inconvenient time for all of us, but thanks to one of our trio over here, we've had to move the day and time. So thank you for taking the time to join us. Listen, Des, how are you today, buddy?
I'm good, and this is normally the time I have my warm glass of milk and head into my afternoon nap. So this could be a bit of a challenge for me.
Well, I don't think it's going to be any more of a challenge than the last show, really, Des. You were experiencing a few difficulties, if memory serves me correctly. But hey, we'll work through them, Des. We'll work through them, and we'll see what we can do. Hey, Des, a question for you. But Hump Day, are you a big fan of Hump Day? Like, do you celebrate it? Do you know what I mean?
It was a foreign concept to me when I worked FIFO, but now that I'm back into a normal work week, yeah, it's definitely something to celebrate.
Yeah. Nice. Andy, how are you today, my friend?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. It's quite a different feeling. Quite a different feeling at this time of day.
Andy, this is a safe place, mate. You don't need to lie. We know you're not feeling okay today. Do you want to tell us about it?
No, not really.
Okay. Well, maybe it'll come out later in the show. But great to see you all. Hey guys, super excited. The countdown is on. We've been doing a lot of prep behind the scenes. Next week, 19th, 20th of March. That's Tuesday, Wednesday. It's not long to go. The three of us and a bunch of other people, right? And to be fair, I've got to be honest. Catching up with some of the presenters over the last couple of weeks, I think we're in for a cracker, absolute cracker. If I wasn't excited beforehand, I mean, it was really about the fact that the three of us were asked and someone agreed to let us kind of out in public. Actually meeting some of the presenters, it's going to be a cracker show, this National Health and Safety Leaders Summit in Ellerslie, Auckland. I'm super excited. What about you, Des?
Yeah, look, the perspectives that I've heard over the last couple of days in those meetings has been pretty remarkable. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, great. Andy, I mean, I like the way he was working at the time, Des. You managed to jump into one of those kind of catch-ups. What are you looking forward to the most at the National Health and Safety Leaders Summit on the 19th, 20th of March at Ellerslie in Auckland?
I'm particularly excited about listening to the speakers on day two with the stream that's about wellness and well-being. Certainly, that hasn't been part of my training historically in health and safety. Yeah, it's becoming more and more relevant in safety departments or safety groups in workplaces. So, looking forward to listening to some fabulous speakers explain what that's all about to me.
I'll tell you what, Andy, it's really amazing to see that somebody like yourself, a consultant nonetheless, that probably normally sits back and just takes the cream, is really pushing themselves and going out of their comfort zone and trying some new things. So not just kind of clipping the ticket, you know. It's great to see, Andy.
I appreciate that high praise from you, Brenton.
Mate, listen, now before we jump over to Des to clock us off with our regular feature of our disclaimer before we start actually dishing out what some people may construe as safety advice, how is our young apprentice Oliver coming along, Andy?
Oh, he's had a big week this week. Big week this week at school. He identified a hole in the ground.
Wow. A hole in the ground, right?
Yeah.
Now, is that a low hazard or is that a high hazard? Like, I'm still confused by that term, actually.
Well, we agreed that it was basically just a hazard.
Wow.
And as a result, corrective actions have been put in place.
Okay, great. Well, maybe we'll keep that for another day and another show. Des, yeah, do you want to take us away, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, last fortnight we talked about hazard and risk management and how that applies to safety practice. And
we sure did.
Yeah, I also thought about disclaiming being a form of risk management, isn't it?
Wow.
When you think about
it. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So if it is, then what's the hazard?
Oh, don't get Andy started, Des.
Oh. Well, I thought maybe before we get Andy started, we need to do some disclaiming hazard identification, and then risk assessment. And so, what better way to do that than to have a disclaiming Take 5 card?
More merch, mate. More merch.
This is what we've got. Step 1 is don your disclaiming PPE. So in this instance, it's earmuffs for Brenton's words. Respirator to not accidentally repeat any of Andy's definitions. And eye protection so you don't see the look of contempt on my face.
Wow. Wow, what a great start to the show.
Number 2, step 2, is to assess the area for disclaiming liabilities. Step 3, consider how can I ensure what I say is general advice only. Step 4, think about how the information today is not specific advice. And step 5, implement the need to seek specialist advice that pertains to your specific circumstances. So it's a good little 5-minute exercise. Can really set us up for some good disclaiming hazard ID and risk assessment.
I tell you what, Andy's going to be walking around with that in his pocket all the time when he's out there consulting. That's brilliant.
There's a market for this, Des. There's a market for this.
There sure is. Hey, well, listen, we don't have a lot of time today, so we're obviously trying to squeeze this in. We're super committed to keeping it going. We've got to squeeze it in amongst a few things. So, and Wednesdays, I found these, I don't know about you, but not quite as cruisy as a Friday. So let's get this show on the road. Listen, last week's topic on the spinning wheel. Now that was a topic of topics, right? I think we can all agree it was pretty massive. Are we ready for the spinning wheel this week, boys?
Spin that wheel.
Here we go. Oh, wicked.
Finally.
I mean, you've only made how many contributions to the spinning wheel, Des? And finally, one of yours pops up. And for those of you that are looking at the wheel going, what the hell is that? Well, it's passionate entomology. Now, what a topic, Des. I'm going to put you on the big screen, mate, because this is all you. Do you want to just maybe, what are your thoughts, Des? This is your topic. Passionate entomology. I mean, it's been on the wheel for a while now. It finally landed. How do you feel?
I feel a great sense of relief and excitement. And to kick it off, there's 2 anecdotes that I want to share. Can I launch into those now?
I guess you got a big screen, mate. You go for it.
All right. Let's do this. All right. So the first one is many years ago, I was studying ancient Greek, which you do. And
what else did you do at the time, right?
Someone came up to me and said they want to get a tattoo, and they wanted to know if there was a Greek symbol for passion. And so I said, look, I don't know. I don't think there is, but let me look it up. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a word. So I looked it up in my Greek English lexicon. This is the one I carry in my hip pocket just for any
anytime
linguistic emergency.
In case the wheel finally lands on it. Finally.
So I looked it up, and the word for passion was patheticos. And I thought, well, I'm glad I know that now, because I'm pretty sure that person doesn't want that tattoo on their body. But it's some passion and patheticos, where the word comes from, is really indicating that someone's driven by emotion. It's in their soul that they're going to do this, and obviously the term patheticos has become pathetic through the cultural interpretation of someone being driven by emotion not being a positive thing. The second anecdote is in a previous job, we were being told by the general manager that there was a new health and safety lead being appointed. And they originally came from an HR background, and they were taking over both HR and health and safety.
Happens all the
and my
time,
question
right?
quite innocently was, it's great that they've been appointed. Really excited to hear that. Do they have any formal training or experience in health and safety? And the answer I got was they don't, but they are very passionate about health and safety. And I was a little bit dumbfounded, and I thought, why is that the only qualification that's needed for what is actually a highly technical role that requires a lot of broad knowledge? why is that the foremost quality? And I see it often in job applications, in people, in the way they talk about themselves as health and safety professionals, that passion, it's not the only quality, but it's held out to be the foremost quality of a health and safety professional. And I really have to question why that is. I'm not saying passion's bad. I just question why it's the foremost quality.
And great point, Des. I really feel like there's a sense of relief now come from you. You finally managed to get that out. And so, Andy, I mean, your thoughts. I mean, are you as passionate about this topic as Des is?
I see what you did there. Very good. Very, very good. I think Des raises a very good point, which segues beautifully with what I've been saying in pretty much every episode.
Oh God,
is maybe the reason that people go back to the passion piece is because safety is so ill-defined that we don't actually know what a good safety person is. So we just go back to what we're comfortable with and say passion'll do.
Wow. I'll tell you what, this is going to be a long show. I
think okay. Nailed it. Thanks very much, guys.
Yeah, right. That's a wrap. See you next
Brent,
week.
What are your thoughts?
Listen, I think I know where you're going with this, Des, and I think what you're saying is that this is why is it often considered the foremost quality of a health and safety professional, right? And I mean, so I don't think you're saying it's not something that's needed. I mean, because I guess, how would you feel if your health and safety advisor or health and safety business partner or a health and safety manager just didn't give two toots about anything, right? And actually wasn't passionate. I mean, what would that look like? Hi, welcome to Health and Safety 101.
No, I think.
I mean, really. I mean, would you really kind of like? I mean, let's be fair. Health and safety has got a really bad rap already for being as boring as batshit, right? Let's not be. And so, if you don't have that, right? I mean, is it going to make it even worse? I mean. Yeah, I don't know. So I don't disagree with you, Des and Andy, but I think I disagree with Andy. I don't think we need to define it, but I don't think it needs to be. It's not the foremost quality, this is per se, but I don't know if there's one particular quality. So I think it's in a tie equal, right? And I think passion should be up there.
Yeah, I think you've rightly identified an engagement and motivation as good qualities for a safety professional to have, and maybe that's summed up by passion. I'm not sure, but it's just forever held out as the foremost quality, and I just really question that. And we've got a comment from Matt Sadgrove.
Beautiful.
Very interesting perspective. He says it's the result of being hidden under an HR function traditionally for so long, and the cry for recognition as an ingredient for good work, not just a side dish to be acknowledged, then pushed to the side of the plate.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Ouch.
Wow. See, this is why I like doing these shows on Friday morning, because people don't come out with comments like that intelligent. It's like, clearly Matt is peaking right now, right? It's Wednesday, it's hump day. He's like in his prime right now. I mean, that's a brilliant thing. But again, I guess I go back to, and I guess heaven forbid we have to go down Andy's route, Des, but definition, right? Like, I guess, I mean, because I see where Matthew's coming from, but in saying that though, again, my take on it is, right, if everybody, I mean, we've all seen bad health and safety people, right? That do nothing but spout legislation, that do nothing but go, the rules are the rules, and they don't, I don't know, they just don't take people on the journey with them, right? And does that do us any favors? Does that do them any favors? I guess maybe the word passionate or passion sums up the amount of emotion potentially needed to give it a bit of a makeover, maybe. I don't know. So Des, in your studies, I mean, clearly you've studied a lot, right? Far more than I could ever imagine, even contemplating. I mean, what's your understanding? Do you have any further thoughts on the meaning behind passion and passionate? I mean, is there Is there anything else we can call to in that lexicon of greatness?
Yes.
Wow.
Because
that was almost
the STEM word. The STEM word for patheticos is pathos. And alongside pathos is a bunch of other things like logos and sophos and thumos. And they point to other things that give us drive and motivate us. Logos being logic, sophos being wisdom, thumos being like a call to sort of national fervor to defend your country type thing. It's all different ways of.
Des, stop it! You're making me blush. You're making me blush describing me like this, Des.
This is taking a turn. I was never expecting this podcast to go this way. But I'm loving it.
But I would, bringing it back to passion, I think that if we're talking about passion being an emotional drive is not going to make you better at doing a risk assessment. That's a logical process.
Absolutely.
Being passionate and emotional about an investigation is not going to make your investigation better.
Absolutely.
That is a logical process.
So I keep hearing this thing in the background.
You might be deeply motivated.
Can you hear it? Like it just keeps going, yes, absolutely, absolutely, yes. Can you hear that, Des? It's almost like someone's agreeing with you.
That's unusual, actually. Don't normally get that from that corner.
Oh, yeah.
For good reason.
Okay, so fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, you've spent a lot of time studying this, and this is not helping the rumors that we pre-rehearse and we're preload the show. This is not helping at all. But I just want to let everybody know, Des has been carrying around that lexicon ever since he put this topic on the wheel for this very moment. So this has been a long time in the making. Andy, I mean, what is your understanding of it? I mean, you're sitting there chirping in, agreeing with Des, yes, Des, you know.
I would almost go as far as to suggest that being impassionate is actually a strength in the safety field, whatever that is.
What?
I don't think we want to bring that much emotion into it. And I would go further than that and say, actually, I don't know if passion is something that we should be striving to have in our work anyway. Because I think someone that's passionate in an organization is way more vulnerable to being a victim of psychosocial harm, bullying, etc.
I'll tell you what they need to do, though, I've got the control measure for that. They should listen to the Bloodhound Gang. There's a famous line in the Bloodhound Gang song, and I'll share it with the audience. You can be passionate and not be open to psychosocial harm, man. Come on, look at me.
No. I think it makes you more vulnerable to it.
You really?
I genuinely do.
So I've seen you deliver training, right? Because I got to be fair. There was this one time where I didn't believe you actually worked for a living, and so I popped along, and I'll tell you what, you exude, I would suggest, passion. You know, when you're in that classroom, when you're in front of some eager learners, you're up there, you're doing your thing, you're motivating people, you're talking to people. I don't know. I would describe that as passionate. So are you being a bit of a hypocrite here, there, Andy?
Not at all. All I'm saying is that I'm more likely to be a victim of bullying in the workplace, etc., because of that passion, because I care. If I don't care, then it doesn't matter if people are mean to me. But if I do care, then it does matter to me. And I think there's a much bigger issue here that we're touching on, which I think is quite an interesting one. And that's why at the conference next week, I'm so excited to be there and to listen to on the stuff on day 2, is because there's a real balancing act, I think, between working hard and meeting your obligations, but also being passionate about it, which is in some cases going way above and beyond what's expected.
So are you suggesting being passionate about something and caring about something go hand in hand?
I think
caring,
so.
being caring and being
so.
passionate about something?
I think so. Absolutely. I think Des could probably disagree if he refers to his lexicon, but I think if you're passionate about something, you care about it. And sometimes you can care too much in an organization that doesn't really care about you. And you end up in this one-way relationship with an organization.
Yeah, but I think we're going down a rabbit hole here.
I think it's really interesting for the wheel that put on, actually.
Well, you know how to add stuff to the wheel board, so feel free.
No, I've
jump
got no
on.
idea to. But I think what's happening to me now...
Is that because of your lack of passion for this
absolutely.
little thing we call a podcast?
What's happening to me now is what I wouldn't speak about earlier, and I'm just trying to vent. Because
here we go.
I was wound up this morning.
Well, it's great because Corinne is chiming in, and the first sentence I kind of read kind of suggests maybe she disagrees with you there. She's gone to say the emotional drive or passion may help you survive in a field that is the ability to suck the soul. Whoa, I should have read this before I went aloud. Suck the soul out of your body from the constant battle of selling safety to the masses. Or if you subscribe to Andy's theory, it's better to have no soul to suck in the first place. Oh my God. We are never
Corinne, you're a bloody legend.
We are never having a show on a Wednesday afternoon ever again. I'm sorry. This is just, you people, honestly, you're making it sound like there are not enough people in this industry, right? There are not enough dedicated professionals in the safety profession. And you two are literally, as Corinne's pointed out, sucking the soul out of this industry. I mean, really? Who's going to want to imagine going into a school to try to promote safety to people with your attitude, Andy? I mean,
no, I think this is why I think it needs to be defined, because there's a difference, right? I can go in. I was a teacher for years. I can go into a class of kids and pretend that I'm passionate about netball, right? I'm not, but I can do it. I can do that for an hour. Yeah, I can go into a class and pretend that I care about gymnastics or passionate about gymnastics. I'm not, but the perception is there, and that's a sort of self-defense mechanism. Because if you go in, and especially when you're a teacher and you're passionate about everything, at the end of the day, you're absolutely exhausted. So what you've got to do is you've got to sort of pace yourself and distance yourself from it.
You've just got to do some training, mate. It's called being fit for work, right? So if you go in, you train, you go in passionate every day, you wake yourself up, you do your stretches, your routine, and you get into it.
Yeah, absolutely. But you've got to look after yourself. And I think often I see these people that are really passionate about health and safety are the ones that tend to burn themselves out. They're brilliant for 6 months. You see them after 18 months and they're just a wreck.
I think that's a whole other topic, though, right? Like that's like comparing them with ultramarathon runners, for example. Yeah, it's, like you get those guys that you've seen them on the TV, right, at the Olympics, where they're so close to the finish line and they fall over, they don't quite make it to the finish line. But then you get the others that are, I guess, I don't know, super passionate about running. As an example, they hydrate themselves, they feed themselves correctly, they train correctly, they rest correctly, and they break world records, right? So
is that passion, or is that just, like Des was saying, that's just a logical approach? If you want to run fast, you've got to hydrate, you've got to do those things. That's all science. That's not passion.
If you're going to put one foot in front of the other for that long a period of time, there's got to be more than just logic behind that. There's got to be something else to it, which is a little bit like us, right? We're marathon runners in this game of safety because it doesn't all happen overnight. It doesn't all happen in 5 minutes. It's something that you've got to pace yourself at. But if you don't have any passion, you're just gonna wallow away, right?
I don't know if you are. I think we're approaching passion as being a binary thing, but I think there's all sorts of medium. I mean, is that passion or is that motivation? And motivation and passion the same thing?
Well, I guess this goes back to you wanting to define everything, right? Des, over to you, mate. So passion, is it defined as, what was the other word you said, Andy? I've even lost it.
Motivation.
Motivation. There we go. I fell asleep listening to your passionless talk. Is motivation and passion the same thing, Des? Different? What are your thoughts, mate?
Different. And I noticed when everyone, in some of the comments, people are jumping to the defense of the word passionate or what they think people mean. And when they describe what they think people mean, they're actually using better words to describe what's going on. Dedication, drive, motivation. Those are all much better words, in my view, to use to describe yourself as a health and safety professional. And I don't have a problem with people describing themselves as passionate. There's a lot of virtue in that. It doesn't automatically make you good at something if you're passionate at it, and that's something that needs to be considered. And it shouldn't be the foremost quality of a health and safety professional, in my opinion. But it's held out to be, and I just question that. I don't understand why that's the case.
Would you suggest that maybe you had a foremost quality?
Yeah, tenacity. I think I don't let things go.
Okay. Fair enough. So kind of starting to sort of wrap ourselves up here, team. I mean, so in the end, I guess, Andy, do you feel that it's got a place in passionate entomology? Do you feel it has a place in Safetyville?
Barely.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, that's fine.
Barely.
You're entitled to your opinion. I guess, Des, we know what your thoughts are.
What do you think, Brendan?
No, let's hear from Des first, mate.
Sorry. I thought Des had finished.
Let's hear from Des.
Well, maybe it does, but just certainly not first place.
Well, thanks for asking, Andy. I think, and maybe it's just because I'm ill-informed and uneducated and possibly don't quite understand the definition of the word. But I do think it's got a place, and I would suggest there's not one thing that makes, there's not one item that makes a safety professional good at what they do. I think there's a number of items, and I think it's up there. I definitely think you need it. I definitely think it's something there. I mean, do you see people falling into any, I guess, I don't know, Des, what are your thoughts in terms of the I don't know, there's not really any pros, eh? We can't really think about it from that sort of view, can we? There's no pros or no traps, but I guess your takeaway at the moment is that it's not the foremost thing to be looking for in a safety professional. Is that where we're going with this?
Yeah, so
you're going with it.
It's certainly where I went with it, and I would say that if your GM came to you and said, we've got a new pilot, and he's going to fly your plane. And you say, well, what qualifications does that person have? So I'm not aware of any. I don't know if he's got any experience, but he is very passionate about flying planes.
Well, at least I know if it all goes pear-shaped, he's going to be flapping his arms like there's no tomorrow, right?
I mean, he can be as passionate as he wants. It doesn't mean anything.
Wow. Well, I kind of feel like I might need to go speak to somebody about my career options following this show. Andy, your thoughts? Does it have a place? And your sort of final takeaways on this?
I think an interesting question would be to ask if passion isn't the number one thing that we should be looking for. What is? Because I think that's a more useful conversation.
But not with me. It sucks. I don't think there's one thing. I don't think there can be one thing.
That's a good conversation in itself.
You can tell you're a consultant, Dave.
It is.
You should reach out to Brooke about a position in the government, mate. I reckon you
can't
would
believe after the morning I've had,
brilliant.
You're even suggesting that. That is tantamount to bullying, and I know I'm an easy target because I'm passionate about this. That is below the belt, man.
You open yourself up to that, Andy. The amount of passion.
Because I was passionate. If I didn't care, I wouldn't be bothered.
Exactly, but you do care. You are passionate about what you do. Absolutely brilliant. Hey, Tim, well, we did say that today's going to be a slightly shorter show with it being a midweek and a few other things on the go. So, I mean, Des, anything coming up in the next couple of weeks? What do you got planned? Anything exciting?
Well, the Safety Summit, of course.
Of course, Tuesday, Wednesday next week.
The Safety Summit, yep.
Nice. Brilliant. Andy, what about you, mate? What are you up to?
Yeah, same Safety Summit, but I'm also got a cool couple of pieces of consulting work I'm doing that are quite different to stuff I've done in the past, which is really interesting.
Oh, fantastic.
Around ownerships and liabilities and complex business structures. Really interesting.
No, sounds like fun. Well, unlike you boys, I live my life. I'm looking. One of the reasons why we've had to pull the show forward by a few days is because of me. I'm heading off to the Hawke's Bay and on the sunny east coast of Aotearoa to commentate and MC a weekend of the BMX New Zealand National Championships, which will be pretty cool. So going to be some exciting times. Of course, super excited about the upcoming National Health and Safety Leaders Summit in Tuesday or Wednesday next week in Ellerslie, Auckland. That's going to be a cracker, I tell you. Hopefully I've still got my voice, team, so fingers crossed you can help me out.
We're both optimistic there.
Yeah, I'm sure more ways than one. But I will be getting a bit of a warm-up tomorrow night, so that should be good. It's going to be a great couple of weeks. I think really looking forward to this National Health and Safety Leaders Summit next week. It's going to be exciting. Super stoked with the lineup. It's going to be great. Going to be some 2 days of amazing learning. So can't wait. Wow, Corrine, did you have to go there? Sorry, I've just seen her comment about alcoholism and ultramarathon running. This has gone to a place we don't want it to go. Hey, but listen, without our followers, I guess the show would be just 3 guys talking stuff unpassionately about safety. So just want to shout out. Oh yes, sorry.
Yes, just speaking of our followers, if I've got two clients that are in the market for safety advisors. If you're interested, if any of our followers are interested, send us a message on LinkedIn. Thanks.
Just do not say you're passionate about safety.
We want 2 completely impassionate people.
Soulless people. But hey, listen, talking about our followers, just a big shout out to our latest follower. Guys, you're going to be super excited about this. I know we've got a following in Perth, and I know we need to get over to Perth. But this is just beautiful timing because last night I booked my tickets to the UK. I am heading over to the UK in May, hopefully to catch up with a few people. It's going to be exciting times as I head over there with Inchpo, which is quite exciting. So looking forward to being in the UK. But our latest follower comes from that part of the world. Her name is Elaine Osborne. So Elaine, if you're tuning in, don't know what the time zones are like for you now. Probably not so great. But Elaine Osborne, health and safety bus manager for TransLink over in Belfast. So Elaine from Belfast, welcome to the whānau. Look, great to have you on. Look forward to you commenting and getting your international opinion on some of the topics that we tend to chew the fat about. So that's quite exciting. The other thing too, if you still haven't got your tickets to the National Health and Safety Leaders Summit in Auckland, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, don't panic. I think they're still, in fact, I know they're still available. You can still get your tickets. And as a follower of the show, use the code Circus2. So CIRCUS, the number 2, Circus2, and that'll get you a whopping $200 off your ticket price. So use the code Circus2 when purchasing your tickets for the National Health and Safety Leaders Summit next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, to get that whopping $200 off. Well, team, it's been an experience today, that's for sure. Yeah, absolute experience. I don't know if we're going to repeat this again. I'll sooner give up commentating at the BMX National Championships to go through this again. But anyway, Des, take care. Look after yourself. Andy, have a great one. And we'll talk to you all soon.
See you guys.
See you next time.